Hi, Sudipta. Hi, Sudipta. Can
Hi,
you?
Anja. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Long back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Is it
So I
okay
did not
if
have
I?
any. Go ahead.
Is it okay if I record this session?
Yeah, of course, of course. So I did not. I mean, I don't have any presentation at all. So what I thought we could do is just use like a lean coffee format. Have people kind of just put in some of their thoughts on what do they want to discuss. Do a quick vote, and then those topics to discuss.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Anjuman, I can't hear you.
So I think that makes perfect sense, Sudipta. So let's go ahead with the approach.
Okay.
So I have also made you host in case something happens. So we'll have a safer system.
Sure. Sure.
Hi, Salil.
Hi guys, hi. I just joined.
We'll just wait for another couple of minutes here and we'll get
Sure.
started. So Sudipta, you're in Bangalore or in Mumbai?
No, I'm based in Bangalore.
Oh, so therefore you are in with a fan because here in Delhi you cannot afford to stay with a fan.
No, this is my backup, so
Okay.
it's at a different angle.
Okay.
But yeah, Bangalore is pretty cold. Bangalore is pretty cold. You just see my two jackets right behind here.
Ah, right.
So and I'm on the 14th floor. So if I sit in the balcony without one of my jackets, I'm pretty sure to catch a cold.
Oh, interesting.
So it's cold and it's windy. This is the time that Bangalore is very windy.
So it's hot and humid here in Delhi.
Yeah, I know. I'm a Delhi boy, so
Oh,
um, I'm very well familiar. So
It's
where?
not raining. It's not raining much. That is the problem.
yeah.
Yeah, my mother is still in Delhi, but yeah, we have moved to Bangalore many years back.
Are we still going to wait for another 1 minute because it's already 2 minutes?
No, we can start. Sudipta, can we start? Are you fine with that?
Sure, sure. So let's start. So what we could do uh, is we can just quickly put down some of our thoughts that we would like to discuss in terms of the challenges and what some of the things can be done to break our teams out of the comfort zone. And if it's a small group like ourselves, we can just possibly pick up all the topics and just discuss them for 5 minutes and kind of just take it from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I could do is I'm just going to share my I just put a Kanban board here and I'm going to just share that out. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is the font size good enough?
Yeah.
I guess
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I just created one small lane in my personal board and just thought we can just do it for you. So what you guys can do, what we could do is you could just share your how do I open the chat window, mute security participants, can you share? Annotate
So Sudipta,
more.
there's a chat window at the right bottom of the screen of
Yeah.
the Zoom.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is if you guys can put put what comes to your mind in terms of the difficulties or the challenges that you have in trying to break your teams out of the comfort zone. You can just put it out there, and I'll just go ahead and start creating some cards to just put it on the Kanban board here. Okay.
Yeah.
From my okay, covering all expectations of the client. Okay.
This was just two examples that I quickly brought in from my current team, which
I'm going to
I
put
think,
one from my side, which is pretty much focused on technical competency. We don't care what you want us to do types. Okay. Okay, so let's start with that. And
We might have
Anjuman,
more, yeah, we might have more WIPs. Once we address these, we might get few more ideas. Yeah.
think of, yeah.
Okay, so let's just start with this, and let's just pick up which one. Any suggestions on which one you would like to take first?
Yeah, I think any change is difficult. You can take Anjuman's left, rightmost corner, and then we can discuss.
Okay. Okay. So so let's just time box it. It's about 9:56 now. So let's spend about 5 to 6 minutes on this. Okay, Anjuman, we want to take a first stab at what comes to your mind. Any change is difficult needs to be addressed in terms of why and how. So the question is that if you explain why and how, do you think the team would then resonate with that and then respond?
No, I mean, first of all, any change is difficult to absorb. For example, I faced this situation last year when I wanted to bring Agile into my production support team. So, first question is, why do you want to do it? When everything is fine, why do you want to radically change everything? What is the ROI? You give n number of reason, you explain them the business benefit, you tell them anything, but they are still resilient to accept it and move ahead with the changes. So they don't want to attend the trainings, they don't want to change their existing mindset, they don't want to change their tools. We are comfortable with that. So that is one of the things that is really difficult to address.
Okay. Any thoughts from your side, Salim?
Yeah, I guess a lot of pressure from the management to deliver the features, and if everything is going in a okay scenario, then people do not tend to change, or management will not pressurize them to renovate or experiment on new things, and say, let's go with the flow and at least deliver this. Don't go, and people are not very happy in going to change.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the main thing. And in case there is a dip, during the delivery, who will be the responsible person? So I will not take the responsibility. So that is why people are reluctant to change.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
The team adjusts through this change.
Yeah, what's in there for me, kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
And it happens in almost every kind of a team, whether it's super mature or it's a new team. So it is the natural instinct of any human being to go for a change if they think things are going fine or in a smooth direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Sudipta?
So no, okay. So I think the reasons, all kind of converge to a few common things, right? I mean, like when I said that a lot of the teams that I have seen, um, I've seen teams in two flavors. One is teams which which get the message that this is the way that these guys want it to be done, and if I don't line up, these guys are going to pain me to death. Um, there's another side, and that always is not, that does not always mean top down dictatorial execution, but it's just that repeated conviction and reinforcement from the leadership that, hey, we need to do this, we must do this, and abcd are the reasons why it needs to be done. uh, and I think after some point of time, once they get the message that that we have to do this, whether they like it or not, they perhaps start doing it. I've seen this classic example within Digite itself, that we had uh, that that till the time that we had a certain leadership, we always used to have reasons as to why we don't want to automation, and it's a pain in the neck, and automation is for testers, and developers should not waste time in automation, blah blah blah. And once the leadership came, one the leader who was a very strong proponent of automation, once they came on board and took over, people just lined up without even raising a voice. It was like a miracle. And it is not that that individual had to actually put a lot of pressure. It just, I think people figured out that, oh my God, if this guy has been paining us for the last 3 years, we don't stand a chance of objecting and raising objections. That's what I guess. Okay. I mean, it is hard for me to figure out, but at least it worked like a charm in that case. There's another scenario that I've seen at one of our customer sites where really uh, the management was trying to convince people that it's a good thing to do and we should go for it. And hardly about 10% of the population got convinced and made an attempt. The rest were just passive observers. They could care less. I mean, okay, you want me to do automation? I'll do automation. You want me to do some unit test writing? Okay, I'll do some unit test writing. They really could not care as to why we are doing what we are doing, and that is the challenge which I had in mind as to how to shake those kind of people out and get them interested, because those kind of people, from most of my experience, are very technical and they want to stay technical, and whatever we kind of talk about, all this language is very process and delivery oriented to them, which just does not interest them. um, so so those are the two scenarios that I've seen. I don't know if it relates with you guys. Um, but one thing which we have done in a few examples, and that is true in Digite, is we spent in the last 2 years, we have spent a lot of time to understand our people. So we do these career orientation discussions with each individual. It's almost done like for about 45 minutes to an hour twice a year. Uh, and our attempt is to try and understand, make that person go through a self-discovery of what do they want to be. Who would they, who do they think is a role model to themselves, and kind of just understand, make people discover themselves, because often people are so much in a day-to-day grind that they just take it one day at a time. And in that process, we have understood people better. In that discussion process, we have generated a significant amount of empathy about that individual. Why do they want to do this? What is the sensitivity? What is their family background? What is the financial situation? So we have generated a lot of empathy of each and every individual at a one-on-one level, not at a very aggregated level. And that has actually helped us to craft the why and the how that Anjuman referred to on an individual basis. That, hey, if we do this, then this is what it could help. So for example, if somebody says, I'm financially struggling, I have a significant amount of EMIs, then the message that we take across to them is, that, hey, if you could do well in this kind of execution model, if you understand how to do test driven development or how to do behavior driven development, and if you put that in your profile, a couple of years, 3 years down the line, how your profile will be worth a lot more in the industry. So we've tried to kind of take that kind of a one-on-one selling of how a lean agile adoption could relate to one individual specifically. So if that works, we have had some success for it, but it does take a lot of time to
Yeah, addressing
really.
101 takes time, but I think that's a perfect way. That's a perfect thing. I mean, knowing the background and then addressing specific concern will eventually help further also.
Yeah, and the magic is, in Digite, we used to almost have, we used to recruit in batches, in campus batches, and we had a track record that after the first 3 to 4 years, 50% of the batch would go out. In the last 2 years, in the year between in 2019, we slashed it down by half. In 2020, we have actually got it down to zero. Now, I don't know how much of zero is because of COVID, uh, but so far in this whole year, in the last 8 months, including Q1, we have actually had zero, and this is after taking a salary cut. So I don't know if that's working, but let's see. Time will say. I'll keep my fingers crossed until business comes back to normal, and we'll know if we have been able to relate with people more.
Right. Agree.
So like the last point that you have mentioned, Sudipta, is more of a personal touch and more of a customer education centric approach that you are mentioning here, if I understood that correctly.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that we in the whole lean agile coaching community do is we have a very standard message, right? And we push that standard message through everybody's throat. And like I said, perhaps 10%, 10% of the population responds to it, but the balances don't care. So I think, and plus it also is a question of, to the 2 year guy who wants to add more skills on his resume and make his resume more valuable, he doesn't care, really speaking. And if you ask him to do automation and do stuff like that, he says, I would rather learn AI and ML and Python and everything else. Why are you making me waste time on this? So especially ours is a product company, and therefore we keep pretty progressively moving forward in technology spectrum, and so they always want to leave this and move to the next one, and that becomes a challenge because the old one needs to be supported as well. So I think that's yeah, it is that one-to-one association, but I don't know how scalable it is. I mean, though I would think no matter how large an organization you are, at an individual level to their manager, it is all no more a 1:8 or a 1:10 relationship, right? Even if I take an Infosys scale, a team lead would not have more than 8 to 10 people directly below them. Of course, it then rolls up in the hierarchy, but so it's possible, but I think it has to be very, very, uh, very taken up with a lot of care and focus and comfort that yes, it doesn't get
And
ignored.
moreover, I think the payout is just not limited to this thing. Payout is large. It will help in addressing many forthcoming problems that might be there in the team. If you
Right.
have a personal one-on-one connect and you know person personally, that will help later also.
And actually what we did is we created many organizations have this, that they have a line manager and they call a people manager.
Yeah.
uh, but I think traditionally the people manager was looked as a resource manager.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was in Sun Life, and we used to have a delivery manager and a people manager there. So people manager was responsible for appraisals and all other aspect related to the
Right.
people, while delivery manager is responsible for the delivery of the project. So I could correlate what you are saying at this point.
So one of the things that we recognize and we kind of twisted that a bit is we realized that the HR person,
Mm-hmm.
his job is to get an HR function done,
Right.
and they are not able to generate a mental association with that individual. So what we did is, while the HR guy still exists, we created a separate career mentor within the technical team, who's not the line manager.
Okay.
Okay. So that the career mentor becomes a point where they can, because an HR manager is not able to really groom a person into how his technical career and path can take shape. Uh, so, and the lead manager is very possessed and very busy with their day-to-day function, right? So we essentially use a senior technical person whom we call as a career mentor of this person. No matter which team and whosoever is a line manager, this career mentor will kind of help you groom in the path that you want to take. And so yeah, so that's another experiment that we've tried to do in the last 2 years. I mean, I think it's still early days to see how effective that model is, but we've been trying to do all these things to kind of engage people, if that's the only term I can say. So let's move to another card. What do you want to be taking next? Covering all expectations of the client or delivery waiting to be done?
Any one of them, any one of them. You can put delivery. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was, yeah. That is delivery expectation is more on a more on the stakeholders request. They want everything in the coming up releases, and that's why people are under pressure. They have to deliver and deliver and deliver, and that's why they are reluctant to change the normal mode of working. That is the main reason. More
Yeah.
of an accomplishment that has to be shown to the client in terms of what we achieved over a given period of time. So that is more
Dalil,
of a,
you are in an IT service environment.
yeah. I'm working as a scrum master for multiple teams in an organization in Noida. Um, uh, I was working. Now I am, and I'm searching for a new role,
Yeah.
outside that organization. So that was the main challenge, and that's why people were little, not little, very reluctant to change and to give away the normal working way of working, just to try and push things over the fence
Yeah.
towards the customer, make them happy. So that was the challenge.
Yeah, IT service is a beast. I mean, our customers are Infosys, HCL, Wipro, Cognizant,
Yeah.
L&T Services, L&T IT, Zensar, everyone, Exaware, you name it. Um, and IT service is a beast, which is one of the reasons why IT service really hasn't adopted Agile to any serious level. I think TCS has made some good attempts at it, but
Yeah.
everybody else is doing a pretty uh, superficial job of it. Uh, okay, some thoughts, Anjuman, you want to take a stab at it? So let me put my. So I think the issue becomes that you need a latch hold, right? So you need to see there has to be some pain point which this organization is hurting, that this team or this customer is hurting on, right? There would be uh, uh, some what I'll call as a toe hold. It could be a quality problem. Uh, it could be might be unhappy about productivity. They might be unhappy about transparency. I mean, they meaning the customer. They might be unhappy about your attrition level, though I guess that would not happen in the current environment. But I'm guessing there must be something that they are aspiring for, even if it is not bad, but something that they're wanting to grow that and make it far better. So whether it is quality, productivity, transparency, attrition level, something, perhaps technical competence, whatever, or domain competence. Uh, I used to be in IT service sales for many, many years in HCL America. So I know that customers always felt that the offshore IT teams did not appreciate the domain that they were in, though we would have a complete verticalized segments, etc. And I think that if you can latch on to some toehold like that, then you can then again you can. My guess is in almost all these cases use a lean agile execution model to pitch that story without using the term lean agile.
Yeah.
Uh, right? Because I think what happens is many times people have a negative, people just don't want to go into that path. They're just shut off. Okay, we've looked at it, we don't want to do it. So it just then happens to say, okay, okay, why do we, okay, so that's a problem. Let's say somebody says quality is a problem. Okay, if quality is a problem, let's figure out, can we do greater test coverage? How can we do greater test coverage? We can, obviously write the test case first and then actually do some development. So you kind of start putting some of these ingredients of core lean agile thinking um, to solve that problem, right? If it is transparency, you can say, okay, let's put a, let's put a visual board. Let's get the customer on the board. Let us look at and discuss the issues. Um, that's one way that I think one could perhaps nail this situation. Uh, Anything else, Anjuman, that comes to your mind?
I think Sudipta,
Or
yeah, that is the basic point. I mean, if there is a untrust or they want, I mean, they understand what is the team productivity and they're still expecting more. So there is a gap somewhere, as you have highlighted. There might be some quality issue, productivity issue. So we need to understand that and get it fixed. Moreover, somebody who is paying you a paycheck always expect more. So that's a journal thing. So they give you more and see, and they give you more and think, let's see what can be accomplished. The more it is getting done, the best it is. So that is
Yeah.
also one of the thought process that I've seen.
Yeah. And additionally, there are when stakeholders are demanding more, or the clients are demanding more, the product owners also at times behave in sorry to use that terminology, behave in that manner, a
Mhm.
greedy approach
Mhm.
to satisfy the customers that that look, I have made the team work this much, and now we have committed to deliver 7 features or 10 features or 100 features. So it's like that is a different kind of approach that people have taken, what I have witnessed,
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
that's
have
why,
noticed
yeah,
that,
yeah,
I've
please go ahead.
noticed for sure that both customers, as well as on-site teams, use Agile as a way to say, we don't need to document everything. You guys start development, and then we will keep telling you what has to be done.
Yeah,
Um, and that is an absolute anti-pattern, because Agile does not say don't document. Agile just says, or Agile never said don't document. Agile never said that don't put down explicitly what you know already. Agile only recognize the fact that it is very hard to put always accurately what you have in mind, and it recognizes the fact that if it is hard to put that down on paper or in any conversation, does not matter, then the teams need to be willing and open to accept that change and take it from there. But in no agile literature is it stated that start with something and then I'll tell you as you go along. That is plain. That is just creating more rework where
Yeah.
that is not the case. And yeah, so those are definitely some anti-patterns that I've seen across the board. Okay, cool. Let's pick up another one. Let me take up this. You want to take this one? Stop the natural flow of work and experiment. I think we kind of discussed that in this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
Yeah.
kind of a child for that one
right,
bit.
right. Let's
Yeah.
take on this one. Uh, that's the one that I had has now. Okay. So, so the problem that I have seen is, uh, especially with very young people in India, is that they're very focused on their resume enhancement, and therefore the focus on technical competence, uh, and not so much as to how to use the technology. Uh,
To showcase the number of skills I have, however, they don't know how to use those skills.
Correct. Because most technical interviews, they will ask you to solve a problem. They'll ask you an algorithm or they'll ask you a syntax, and that establishes a technical competence. It rarely gets into how effective and efficient where was your implementation of the tech stack that you are working on. So therefore, for them, uh, it this really becomes a problem. And uh, and I was in a consulting situation where, like I said, the customer really wanted people to pull their adoption of the lean agile behavior and what was requested of them. and and it just went nowhere. I mean, it went little way, but I would say, I mean, hardly any adoption. The depth of adoption continued to be very shallow. So, any thoughts there that you guys might have?
So
I'm
the
still
first
thinking.
thing, yeah. So first thing is like we already discussed. They just want to fill up their resume, the number. They just want to add one more line into this by learning new competency, but not going into depth of the technology. Because if we see even any one technology, let us consider Java for the sake of it. So if a person says he has learned Java, so just learning Java does not help. There are so many things that you need to get into deep dive into Java. There are so many APIs that you can get into it and you can build your knowledge on it. Nobody's interested in doing that. So they just get a superficial knowledge and work accordingly.
Right,
That is
right,
just, yeah.
right. So I'm guessing that it's a pattern that seems like you guys have also seen, right?
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And moreover, when we interview the candidates, for example, if I am interviewing the candidate, in just 5 or 10 minutes we can get to know where is the depth, where is the
Yeah.
person leading. So it is just not writing a line in resume can help, but yes, I think real knowledge is something that people should aspire to and get.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have not had, as I said, I have not had any much success in those terms there. So we and it's very interesting because in that specific case, the leadership and the middle management was pretty excited to do stuff. Uh, but really got very little support from the actual hands-on people. So they actually did detailed workshops on fixed versus growth mindset, uh, and but I still see a fairly shallow adoption. Still see a fairly shallow adoption. I mean, most of them are generally happy to just say customer doesn't want it, and so therefore, why are we wasting time on
Yeah.
it? But I don't have an easy solution on that. Anyway, cool. Um, Perhaps we'll leave this for another day.
Yeah.
Covering all expectations of
Yeah,
the
yeah, that is already covered,
part
and the
of the
first one,
earlier
yeah,
one, right? That the
yeah,
product owner
yeah,
wants to fix more stuff, like
exactly, exactly,
get more
exactly.
done.
Stop natural flow also was the part of any changes difficult.
First one,
However, yeah, because it was more of a resistance from the team members to shift their focus onto something new or suggested by somebody, for an example, Scrum Master. And
right?
people are, because many Scrum Masters, the role Scrum Master is not very seriously taken in many organizations I have witnessed,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it is the most misunderstood role in today's scenario. Uh, and that's why people are not giving much of a ear and much of a heed to what he's suggesting. Although some of the things, in case they may follow, could lead to a different or beneficial outcome. So that is the thing, and that because of that, the people are resistant to change.
And why do you think that is the case, where the role itself is not taken seriously?
Yeah, because many of the Scrum Masters are not technical. Like me, I am not a technical person. I am playing a full time Scrum Master role. I'm not a technical person. However, I can give suggestions, feedbacks, ideas, how to implement or how to go about in agile fashion, or a Scrum fashion, or a Kanban fashion. So that I can give, but deep rootedly on an architectural or a technical know-how, I'll not be able to help much. So that's why people don't take you much seriously and don't give much of a heed to your ideas,
Is it
and
is
that's
it
why
fair
to
to
yeah.
say that it's hard to get the respect from the technical team if you are not technical?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have to work extra on behavioral issues to to uh, to convince, to grab hold of people
So
in order to make
that
them
is about
understand.
the team itself. That is about the team itself. What do you think about the the people higher up? Do they also not take Scrum Master role seriously enough, or again they just take them like just a process guy?
Yeah, so because of the limited, I have witnessed that, and due to the limited knowledge they have about the what a Scrum Master should do and should not do, people in the higher level also tend to behave at times in a manner that and expectations keep on building, because they want Scrum Master to do a lot of things, and people are not doing it because it's not their role, and that's why people don't give much importance uh, to the ideas that are given by them. So
Sudipta
that is the
and
case.
Salil, sorry to interrupt you, but we will have to finish it in next 2 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyway, it's the last point on the
uh,
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
so
Okay.
what can be done in that case? How which direction should we work on? And I think we have Raki also on the line, in case Raki wants to add here something in addition to you two guys.
So
Hi everyone.
yeah. Hi. somebody needs to give us the context. Salil, you want to give us the context again?
Yeah, so the context is the challenges and why people are not, why people do not want to change or come out of their comfort zone. And we found out some challenges, and we are discussing on those challenges and how to come out of that kind of situation in a very short. So that was the context, if I am clear, Raki.
Yeah. Okay, so the I joined in middle, so I heard that we were discussing about the Scrum Master role, where the people are not taking them seriously, and sometimes they don't listen to them even.
Yeah.
Because I believe the major mindset of them is like same thing. Let's say if I wanted to say X thing, same thing. What their people manager will say, they are going to do it. So I believe the the kind of a thing which traditional kind of a thing which everyone has in their mindset, that this is what my manager said, I need to do it. N- so that mindset needs to be changed, and where they should actually feel that Scrum Master is there to help them to go one step up, rather than directing them or giving instructions. So they are helping them to make self organized team.
Yeah.
So definitely this entire process will take time. It's not just in a minute that people start understanding. So this is my experience.
Raki, in your opinion, do they really get what is a self-organizing team?
Yes, because in my career, I'm happy to report that I made 5 self-organizing team,
Okay.
where we need to see the temperament of every team member. So trust me, it took around 4 to 6 months to build that team, where as a Scrum Master, I understand everyone temperament, everyone weaknesses, everyone's strength, and work along with them. And the values, which if you go and ask your team members, hardly anyone read Agile values, Scrum values. But trust me, the Scrum values, they are the building block of self organizing team.
Sure. Sure. Uh, I think we'll just wrap up in a minute because we have already crossed the time. The only thing that I would suggest, I mean, if one is in that scenario, is to kind of get somebody from a technical background and see whether you can latch on to that person, because you need an anchor. You need an anchor on whom the initiative can run. If whether it is a senior leadership guy or a or a technical guy who's well regarded, if you do not get one anchor who's well regarded across the organization, an initiative like this will always be on the side. At least if you get one anchor like that, and you make a success out of that example, then perhaps you can ride on that example to go to other teams and say, hey, this is how we got the success. This is how the Scrum Master's role was critical, and what they did and how they did that was otherwise not happening. And then you make a case study out of that, and you have to internally sell it. But I absolutely agree that it will often get mixed up like a typical process guy, and yeah, I mean, your job will be viewed as, okay, somebody to help schedule Scrum meetings and Scrum ceremonies and be done with that.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks guys.
Sudipta, can you share this Kanban board link with us? Or it's something,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's my personal Kanban
Okay,
board. It's
no
all right
worries.
out.
No worries.
So
Got it.
I just created it quickly on that itself.
Sure.
But if you want, I can put these cards and what we discuss in some kind of a slide deck and share it with you.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be good. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks.
you. Thank you,
Bye
Sudipta. It
bye,
was
guys.
great meeting you.
Thanks, Anand.
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Rocky. Bye bye.